everybody. I hope everyone's having fun in this little Christmas mayhem that we're all having. So today what I'm coming to you with is, ears. Some people, I don't know, I know when I first started grooming, I always had trouble with getting the ears level. So I want to show you just a couple of little tricks of getting that. Definitely going to turn that fan off. But these guys come every single month, and normally we like to grow their ears out. Okay, Mom likes them out because little pigtails, they're absolutely gorgeous. But you can tell that someone else has been cutting on them. That's not me. And so these guys are all done and ready. All I gotta do is just do their ears and their nails, and then they can go home. But Mom wants them shorter. Okay, so what I'm showing you guys is how to do them, and just things that help make trimming them up a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. So pretty much I'm going to show you kind of 3 different ways of doing it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Now you probably are wondering why I have 3 dogs on my table and I groom them all at the same time. They just are that much more calmer and quieter for me, so I groom family dogs together because these guys all live in the same house. So that's another little thing you guys can always help out when you do family dogs. I do them together because, as you can see, they sit here nice and quiet. If not, this one's going to be like antsy all over the place. So, when owners say, I want to trim the ears shorter, and you go, really, how much shorter? And they don't know how short they want to go. One of the things I always ask them, and I do this in front of them, okay? I will take that ear and I will pull it down to their nose, just like so. And I tell them, I go, I'm going to cut about that much off. Is that something you want? Because if anything hanging past their nose, that's what's going to get in their food dish, their water, their stuff like that. So I would usually pull it out to their nose, and I just kind of hold it with my fingers and chop it off. Okay, this is just the rough cut, guys. Okay, this gives you an idea of what it's going to look like, and this is a typical cut like that because of the way his ears are. They don't hang flat. If they hung flat, as you can see, that would be a nice straight cut. Let's angle this down a little bit for you guys. So obviously we need to do some trimming up and everything like that, but I get both ears to do that. Okay, and don't mind, because honestly they're actually going much shorter than what this is, and I will show you that as well. So you just pull it out to the end of the nose, and anything that hangs off past your fingers, just kind of cut it off. That gets you at least the same length, the same size, and you can come in here and level those off. Okay. The other thing is once you have that done, you want to get a nice, turn your head, bud. You should be able to see, and I know it probably may be hard, you can probably see right about here. There's a lot of little long wispies and stuff. You basically want to trim any of those hairs that are long, hanging past what you got. Okay, and that just evens it up. And the next thing I tend to do, just because sometimes dogs don't pull off that like blunt straight cut very well, all right, I will take my thinning shears, and just at an angle I hit this edge right along here. Now his ear leather's way up here, guys, so there's no risk of me cutting it. But if I just take those and go at the slightest angle, and I go all the way around this ear, I can take that so that it looks nice and soft and doesn't have that very sharp blunt cut like some owners don't like. Some groomers don't like it. So, and the same thing, you just kind of go, you want this all at a 45-degree angle when you're doing this. Okay? And so that's one way of doing it. Okay? Now, like, as you saw, I've already cut this one, but they want his ears really short, so they kind of want them rounded in a way. So after you've done this initial blunt cut, okay, what you want to do is pull everything down. Are you gonna help me out by sit for me? There you go. So I've got a nice straight cut, and literally I'm just gonna go 45 and 45. That's gonna give you a more rounded look. And again, you just come in with your thinning shears and just lightly touch those up. To give a more natural. So this one's more of a U-shaped, okay? Now, if you ever are trimming the ears and stuff like that, I got a lot of owners that go, I want them even shorter. I will literally take the ear and I will put my finger, so there's the tip is right there. I will put my finger just off of that, so when I go to do this cut, just like so, I know that I am far enough away and I'm leaving enough space so I'm not cutting that ear leather, okay? And then as you can see, we kind of have this triangle shape going, okay? So they like a more like rounded teddy bear trim when I go to do this. So again, this is why I can trim his ears as much as I'm doing right now, because I'm obviously going to go way shorter than what most of them does. So what we want is about 1 finger width, like the finger width, all the way around this ear. So a lot of this is going to come off the back. Pretty much I'll hold it out. Always, always know where the tip of the ear is, guys, okay? Because if you don't know where the tip of the ear is, you're gonna cut it. And the other rule of thumb, scissors, when you're pointing and trimming anything around, don't ever trim towards the ear or so. You want your point of scissors always going to the point of the ear. Never ever go towards anything. So this is where your eyeball comes into play. Okay, this is going to take a lot of guessing and a lot of practice. Okay, but pretty much I'm going to take that little edge off, and I'm going to come around, and I'm not even going to touch this half right here. I'm going to imagine this being the same all the way around. Okay, same thing with this side. And learning at your angles and stuff like that, it's always fun trying to figure this out, because you want the hair to lay open and flat. But I need his ear this way. It's the same thing. We come across. So now we have a nice little rounded triangle ear. And one of the things that helps get, you have a lot of little stragglies, or to make this look a little bit more rounded, one of the other little techniques that you can do, because now what I'm showing you guys is different ways of applying these scissors, or different cuts to get different looks, okay? And sometimes people aren't always aware of how to achieve those, and so that's what I'm showing you. So as you can see, I'm trying to brush everything over and he's not exactly cooperating. You take that hair and brush everything over. Anything that is sticking over past the line that you cut, you want to trim it. Same thing with this. Pull it all over. So my cut line is right about here. So all that's hanging over is going to come off. That gives this a little bit more of a layered look. And again, you can come in here with your thinning shears. When you get really, really short towards that ear, you want to be really careful with what you can grab. And again, I always take these to a 45 on those ears, just to soften that line. I don't cut along that ear, because you're going to find you get a lot of chunks, and then it's really thin and wispy, and you keep taking those ears shorter and shorter and shorter. I like to do the 45, and that just softens that look for me. Okay, so that's a couple different ways. I will obviously fix that other ear, guys, beforehand. Okay, I'm going to bring another little girl out. So hers, they want them really short, but I don't want to take them that short. But I want to get them at least out of her hair, or out of her face. So one of the other things you can do is you can measure with your fingers. So that finger is right at the bottom of that ear leather. Okay? You can just make sure. So there's one finger's width. There's two. And there's three. So that's one way of measuring before you cut. Okay? And same thing here. You can easily just go. So you measure from the ear leather. This works really well on a dog that has ears that sit the same. If they do not sit the same, guys, I'll tell you right now, it doesn't exactly work like you want. So the ears have to both sit the same on either side. So once you get your rough cut in, okay, you can look and see what needs to be cut off. Most of the time it's whatever's in the back will need to be trimmed off. Okay, now so that's again one way of measuring. I always like to try to get my cuts at least level, and without having to do all the different cuts and stuff there, you can actually just kind of cheat if you don't want to do. Try to keep her in the picture for you guys. If you don't want to necessarily, because on him, I went really short and we went 45 on this side and 45 on that side. This, we're just going to pretty much, you can just take it and do it with your thinning shears. Okay? Can you guys see that 45 that I've cut? And I'll do it over here. And you can gently round this around so that, again, I like nice, soft, natural ears. I don't like the blunt cuts, okay? So I always tend to take my thinning shears to them. So that's one way of trimming them. They're just slightly at her nose, but not quite. So I'll finish that other one. But what do you do when you have this? Because owners have done what they shouldn't have. And see, that's clearly not cut. I haven't done anything to it. But I can tell the owners have cut big old chunks and stuff out of it. So when you get this going, how do you try to match that? Okay? One of the really nice things, like his ears obviously don't sit just right, but his and hers do. They sit nice and flat to the face. One of the other things is I will actually grab the hair and pull that down, okay? Because I want to match it to what's over there, and it's really hard, guys. It's really, really hard to try to do it this way, okay? You can, but one of the other things I'd like to do, okay, is I will take those ears and hold them up underneath the chin. So these are just a few little techniques, a little things that you can adapt for yourself. And I can see exactly where I need to cut. And I'm going to cut both sides just a little bit, just so that I can get them to that right length. And you're always going to need to trim the back half of those ears. And this is where I'll go ahead and trim them this way. So now we've got the ears pretty much level. I can probably take a little bit more off of this one, but that probably looks that way because he's got a nice full thick ear on this side and this one's really thin. But all you can do is just get them close enough, okay? One of the other ways, okay, what I'm showing you are just a million different ways to do one thing. Okay, guys? You don't have to like it. You can literally change you can do it however you want. And I would love to hear your guys' comments on how you guys do ears, okay? What is your little tip and trick and things like that? The other thing is to measure from the bottom, okay? If you actually have them pretty even, I probably need to take about one finger's width of hair off the bottom of this side to make that look a little bit more even, as you can see. When I look at it here, it looks even, but when I look in the camera, it doesn't. But again, I'm going to tidy these up, but I was more or less showing you just simple little ways of achieving this, because so many people I see just try to go straight across and then it doesn't exactly work out for them. So I usually will get the rough cut, and then I can take that little bit off in the back, which is where I would need to cut it, because it's always they cut the front too much when they go forward, when they go this way, because it's really, really hard to get that all the way across. So I really hope that this helped. I now have to fix some ears and get them all to be the same, but you guys have a Merry Christmas. We'll probably have some more videos coming along, but please let me know in the description or in the comments as to how do you guys do ears, or was this any helpful, or was this just a waste of your time? Let me know, okay? Because if not, I have no idea if I'm doing this to benefit people, or am I actually making this harder for you guys to understand, because there's more than one way to groom a dog, and I just showed you a couple different ways of doing ears. So it's really a personal preference, because I just want to try to help everybody understand that to me, there's no wrong way of grooming a dog. There's only an unsafe way of grooming a dog. And that's my thing, is as long as the dog is happy, the owner's happy, and that's all that matters, then however you achieve that goal, or however you achieve getting to that part, doesn't really matter. Thanks. Bye, guys.